Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back, I guess I could say, because I have kind of been gone for a little while, and I am so sorry about that. Thank you to those of you who have been asking me to come back. It feels great to be loved by you when I want, when we're doing these live events together. It's good to have people who appreciate it. And in the beginning, I remember when I first started doTERRA, I would do these Q&As back in 2013, I believe I started. And I would do a Q&A, and I would do them on Friday nights. And people were like joining me. But in the beginning, there wasn't a lot of people joining me. And maybe it was because I was doing them Friday nights and everyone wanted to party. But there were those people who wanted to party with me. So I was like, yay! Good morning, Nadia. I basically, I feel like it's been a whirlwind these last couple of weeks. Many of you may have heard from my Facebook status, if you're on my Facebook wall, that my stepdad passed away. And it was a very traumatic event for my mom because although we knew that he had cancer, he's been living for 12 years. And, it goes to show what a beautiful, positive mind will do for you in these kinds of sicknesses and how important it is to take care of your brain, to take care of your heart. And, we talk a lot about, especially for me, I talk a lot about nutrition. I talk a lot about exercise and all of that. But, I don't care. And, one of my favorite gurus, health gurus, is like, yeah, you can eat all you want, but if your stress level is high, it's not going to make that much of a difference what you eat. You're still going to be sick. And sorry if you're hearing this click. I have this little... Can you hear this clicking? I've been doing this the whole video. I don't even know if you're hearing it, but this is my peppermint beadlets. I'm gonna have one right now, actually. But it's my little habit thing. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done. So basically, it's really important to take care of your mind and to take care of your stress. And sometimes in this adult version of a fidget spinner. I love that, Nadia. Hey, Rachel. So if you in this whole business, we can be really stressed out. And that's why I love my soul coach, Sandy. She taught me more than anybody about surrendering the outcome in this business and how important that is. And to just, last night I had a class, so I'll just share this with you. Last night I had a class. She said 5 people were showing up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 people were there. That included the host. And so nobody bought. But I had 2 potential business people who were like, I want to talk about doing this as a business. Let's chat. And so, but I surrendered the outcome, and they felt that from me. And they said, I didn't feel pressured to buy anything. You talked about how to buy it, but you didn't pressure me on how to buy it. I was able to open my mouth, but not pressure them. And I said, here's the kit. So which one makes the most sense to you? And, at the end of the day, am I crooked? At the end of the day, I think if we surrender the outcome, but don't surrender the action, we are going to succeed in this business. So let me repeat that. Surrender the outcome, but do not surrender the action. Hi, Diana. Good morning. Because, if we can show up all in and surrender the outcome, we will be less stressed. We will have more fun. People will feel our hearts more. People will feel how much we care about them. Because as we're standing there in front of them, what matters is them. As I'm standing there last night in my class, what mattered to me was them. What mattered to me was that if they walk out that door, they feel loved, maybe for the first time in a long time, whether they buy or whether they don't. I am not out for people walking out the door without buying, and that's why I show up and I do the best that I can. But even for me, guys, I have classes where nobody buys, like last night. I feel like I kind of word vomited a little bit last night. All the things that I tell you not to do, I did. And then, of course, when it came time to me asking the host if she was ready to teach a class, she's like, "Oh no, oh no." But I don't know. I just can't help myself, so I got to stop that. So I got to practice what I preach here. But when we surrender the outcome, we have a mindset, we have a heart set that serves, where people can feel us and they will walk away. And I promise you, when I follow up with them, because I will, I will, it's going to be a different story. Jennifer says I'm the same way. I just want to share it all. I know. I want to talk about chemical constituents, and then I want to talk about, the difference between this oil and another oil, and da-da-da-da-da. And I just want to talk about wine, because I talk about wine in almost every class, because I feel like it's a good analogy for people. It's like, hey, well, if you had a winery in Italy, and then you planted that winery, here in Canada, and let's just talk about the difference between, an over-the-counter Tylenol and one you have to get from your doctor, like a prescription. It's like, do I want a little bit of pain to go away, or do I want a lot of pain to go away? You choose. Do you want a little bit of therapeutic benefits from an oil, or do you want a lot of therapeutic benefits from the oil? You choose your price, So, oh yeah, Jennifer, let's talk about Haiti, and let's talk about Brazil and Copaiba, and let's talk about all the things, shall we? Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, I did a little bit of that last night. But it was silly, because at the end of the day, they're all overwhelmed and they're like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense, but I don't know if I can make a decision today, because there's just so much that you just threw out at me. My brain cannot handle any more decision making, Does that make sense? So stop word vomiting. That's not what this video was for, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. And because I haven't been here in so long, I feel like I'm just going to throw everything that I have in the last couple of weeks at you. But really what I wanted to talk about was freedom. And, just to give you an idea of what freedom tastes like, the flavor of freedom. We talk a lot about that in this company, don't we? We talk a lot about freedom and what that looks like, and what that, maybe feels like. And it's going to look different for everybody for sure. But let me just give you a little flavor of my life in the last month. So, number one, my family and I are packing everything up, and we are going to Guatemala for 2 months. To my favorite place in the whole wide world, Lago de Atitlan. And it's in Guatemala. It's a beautiful volcanic lake surrounded by volcanic mountains, and it's not the volcano that's erupted, so don't worry. I am safe. And the volcano that did erupt was hours away, and the air went the opposite of where we are, which typically would happen, so we're not in any harm, and I certainly wouldn't do that to my family. But the idea that happened for me, or that happens for me on an everyday basis, is, what do I want to experience next? Not what do I have to do next. What do I want to experience next? And where I was in the first 2 years, as I reached Blue, because I think at Blue Diamond, that's when I retired. And I also don't think we talk enough about retirement in this business. We talk a lot about freedom, but we don't talk a lot about retirement, because we see a lot of people going, yeah, I have so much freedom. And then you see them online and you see them doing classes, and you're like, what kind of freedom is that? Like, I thought I'm supposed to work hard so that I can retire. So what's going on? And I'll talk about what retirement is. Retirement is doing what you want to do because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. Even if you want to do it. Let me repeat that. And I don't even know if I'll repeat it the same way, but retirement is doing what you want to do because you want to do it, not doing what you have to do, even if you want to do it. So let me explain a little bit about that, because it's a little bit of a tongue twister riddle. I don't do doTERRA today. I'm not here with you today because I have to be. I don't have to come on here and motivate you. Most of the people who are on this, you're motivated. You're showing up. I don't have to be here to inspire you, although I know that happens. I don't have to be here to make money, even though I know that that can happen. I don't have to be here to put food on my kids' plate or to have the dreams that I've always wanted to. I'm here because I want to be here. I'm here because I love being here. I'm here because I have things that are inside of me that explode sometimes. They have to get out to you. I have things trapped inside of me sometimes where I'm like, I have to share that. I am a natural born teacher. And so when I see things out in the world, the first thing that I think about is, how do I teach this to somebody else? And it doesn't matter what it is. That's naturally within me. If I don't teach, I'm not really as satisfied. That to me is freedom. That freedom to me is what lights me up every single day, because I have this natural born desire to teach. Hi, Maggie. And so I'm here because I want to be here, make no mistake. And the retirement happened in 2015, and I went there and I did all the things that I wanted to do, and then around 2016 I kind of got bored and went like, oh, I think I want to hit presidential. Let's go for it. So I did. And I hit presidential 6 months later. Maybe 5 months. I can't remember. But anyways, I felt like I was ready. But, before that, and where some of you are today, it's like, Donna, I'm not at blue diamond. I'm not solid diamond even. I want to be solid. Well, this is about not, like in the beginning of this video, we talked about surrendering the outcome, but don't surrender the action. Until you hit blue diamond, I would never surrender the action. Every single day you need to show up. And listen to me. I think Lee Freiling said this at the last event that we had. It's like, if you do this in 10 years, if you make $1 million, if you only hit one rank every year for the next 10 years, if you hit one rank, right? Then in the next 10 years, you will be a millionaire. What? Let me ask you this. Anybody on this live call, is your 10-year plan without doTERRA helping you hit $1 million? Is that really, like, does anybody have a 10-year plan that makes them a millionaire? No. I mean, nobody that I know. Very, very rare. Like the top 0.000000000%, 1%, 0.0000001% will come up with some sort of like massive idea, and it goes viral, and but even Apple computers didn't even do it overnight. It took them 2 years. It took doTERRA years, to be $1 million, well, $1 billion company. So I don't know when they were $1 million company, but it's not an overnight thing. And it wasn't an overnight thing for me. It took me years, right? And so don't surrender the action that it takes to get there, even if it takes 10 years for you. What kind of a retirement plan makes you a millionaire? What are you doing today in your other job outside of doTERRA that's going to make you retire a millionaire? Let me know. Anybody. Because I can't think of any. Again, if you own like $1 billion company, then it's possible. But man, where's the freedom in that? I've seen a lot of CEOs pretty stressed out. I sit here and I'm not stressed out. I am living the life of my dreams. Let me tell you a little bit more about the freedom that I have. And I don't say this to impress you. I say this to impress upon you, taken from the words of the great Les Brown. I say this to impress upon you. This is real. But you have to surrender the outcome, but never surrender the action. So when I found out that my stepfather passed away, My mom was a mess, clearly. There was nothing, I didn't have to ask anybody if I could take time off. I just booked a flight. And in fact, I had my assistant book my flight because I was a little bit like, I had to make sure that the kids were okay. And while I was doing that, my assistant who I hired, who gives me so much freedom, you guys, the second that you can hire an assistant, probably at Blue, maybe Diamond, if you're a solid Diamond, hire somebody. And if you can do it beforehand because you have money before doTERRA, then do it, because there's so much freedom in that. So I booked a flight for myself. And then when I got there, I realized that when I leave, my mom's going to be alone, and I can't have that. So then I booked a flight for my brother to come, who couldn't afford to book a flight. So I booked his flight. Then I realized that my mom, after my brother leaves, is going to be alone. So then I booked my mom a flight to Guatemala with us. And so she's coming for the 2 months that I'm going to be there. And it's an all expense paid trip for her that I get to do for my mom. That's freedom. My kids, this may be a little bit smaller, but my kids this morning said, "Mom, can we go to Canada's Wonderland next week?" I'm like, "Yeah." Absolutely. Let's take the whole family. 5 years ago, 3 years ago, there was no way I could have said yes to these things. There's no way that I could have done what I've done. I'm grateful to my stepdad, because had his plan been, you can take this for what it's worth, but, he helped provide the timing for him passing on to the other side, because had he passed on 3 years ago, I never would have been able to do what I'm doing for my mom. And when it comes to my kids, 3 years ago, I would never be able to say again, not so on a lighter note, I guess, but I never would have been able to say yes if they asked me to go to Canada's Wonderland. In fact, we never went to Canada's Wonderland until doTERRA, because it was too much for our family. We were living beneath the poverty level. And so, but now, Mom, can I, and hear me on this, my kids are not spoiled. Like, I've said yes because we're actually leaving next Friday. And I wanted them to have a last brouhaha. They were not staying for Canada Day, so I thought this is a great time for them, great way for them to spend their last week with their friends. And my kids, like, we still budget, and I need you to hear me on this. We still budget, because I think that when you have more money, it doesn't mean that you should just spend it lightly and frivolously, because we have kids that we need to put principles into. We need to instill good values around money into them. So we're not just like, here. They do chores around the house. They work for their money, And so, but the freedom that we can even do this, the freedom that I can, like, just pay for a flight. And when you're paying for flights, it's like a one-way flight is so much more than a two-way. And I didn't know when I was even going to come back. And I rented a car. On a side note, I rented a convertible, but only because, not that I am not known for renting convertibles, but I did that because one of the favorite things that my mom does is she likes to go for rides with her husband. And I wanted to just take her for a ride, in a convertible that she's never been in before, and just to distract her a little bit. And so I was able to do that without even blinking an eye. The things that you do in your business, don't surrender the action, you guys. If you're tired, don't surrender the action that you have to take to get up and do it anyways. I'll tell you this, I didn't want to go to that class last night. I was tired. I would have rather done 1,000 things. So I did what I didn't want to do in order to get in front of people that I wanted to be around. Because to be honest, if it was up to me, I would be sitting in my bed all day long and doing nothing but being in front of you on social media in my pajama bottoms. And that's not good for me. So it's like, eating, right? We know that we have to eat well. We know that we have to take care of this body. It's our job to take care of this body. That's our job in life. We don't get paid for it though. But the payment is so rewarding at the end of your life when you look back and you're like, I'm so glad I took care of this body. Because as my husband said with his uncle, when his uncle told him, if I knew that I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of my body. This is our job. So, although we can talk about retirement, and although we can talk about all of the things that we want to do in our lives, we cannot retire the sacrifice and hard work that it takes to get here, to get a healthy body, to get to help change people's lives. I do the things that I do, most of it, 99% of it, because I want to. But there's 1% of the things that I do that take sacrifice. And sometimes that's serving other people. Because sometimes I just want to stay in bed. But I know there's so many people out there who need my voice. And there's so many people out there who need your voice. And they're waiting for you. And you may be tired at the end of the day. And your kids may be driving you crazy. And you may just want to sit at home and drink some more wine. But at the end of the day, they need you to sacrifice yourself sometimes in order to get out there, in order to serve them. And let me tell you, you guys, it's so rewarding. It is the most rewarding thing that I have ever done in my life, hands down. So, freedom, it's here. It's waiting for you. What is your taste of freedom? What does it look like for you? What's your freedom flavor? Write it down today. Just dream drop on a piece of paper without any inhibitions whatsoever. Just dream drop what it would look like to have freedom. And don't even restrict yourself. Even if it feels like it's 20 years down the road. Don't restrict yourself from feeling it today. Because that freedom flavor, whatever that is for you, some like strawberry, some like chocolate, whatever that freedom flavor is for you, it can be found with doTERRA. Absolutely. As you sacrifice the outcome, but never sacrifice the action, because that's what brings the freedom. That's what brings the things that I get to do, that you have within your heart that you want to do, to serve, to give, to play, to live. It's yours. Don't sacrifice the action today. What are you going to do today to make a difference, to make a change from yesterday? How are you going to show up today? It's the action of today that makes you succeed. It's the action of right now that makes you succeed. It's not the action of yesterday, because yesterday is done. It's over. What are you going to do right now? So I hope that this inspired you to take action today, because that's where freedom is found. And I hope to come on here a little bit more often now that life is getting a little bit more stable with the passing of my stepdad. So I love you guys, and thanks for showing up. Get out there and serve the world. Bye.